Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are doing my Notre Dame Pitt preview and prediction video. So as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach my goal of 1,400 subscribers by the end of November. Help me reach that goal by hitting that subscribe button down below. Like the video if you enjoy it. Comment all your thoughts and opinions down below. Hopefully we will be able to do a live stream for this game. It depends on kind of some different factors. I have to help out with my own university's football game. So there's a few factors, but hopefully we can get out another live stream for this game as well. And if you want to join, go ahead and check out the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell, particularly if you want to join the live stream. Also, make sure you check out the website, Patreon page if you want to support the channel financially, or any other links for store merchandise as well, links down in the description. But let's get started with today's video. So, Pitt, Notre Dame. Logically, this game starts in one place. Notre Dame lost to Louisville, Pitt beat Louisville. So, that is definitely an interesting dynamic, as this brings two different teams that are in very different places when it comes to your program. Marcus Freeman, a newer head coach with not so much experience, but you have a coach in Pat Narduzzi who's been around for a long time as a coach at Pitt, and as a coach generally. He's been around for a long time. This is a Pitt team that, Narduzzi has been around for a long time, but they've struggled. So let's go over a recap of Pitt's but their team, and then let's go over a schedule here, their recap of the season so far for Notre Dame. Pitt, coming into this game, is 2-5, 1-3 in ACC play, with their only win against a number 14 Louisville team, with losses at the beginning of the season against Cincinnati and West Virginia out of conference. Their only other win other than Louisville came against Wofford. And that was a 45-7 win earlier on in the season. Not much has gone on. Pitt has really struggled. They struggled against Wake Forest this past week, as Pitt has benched their previous starting quarterback in Phil Jakovic, the former Notre Dame Fighting Irish quarterback. But speaking of which, that is not the only Notre Dame player on their roster. Another one is Sibo Flemister, who had a great game last week, running 23 carries for 105 yards, 4.6 yards a carry. Definitely one of his better games, if not, I would say probably his best game all year. I did not personally watch it, so I'm not going to say it's his best game, but there's that. Christian Voluski. I know I'm saying that probably wrong, but my apologies. In the previous game against Lake Forest, this was a struggle for both teams, as offensively both of them very much struggled to get going, as if it was 7-7 going into the fourth quarter, and then ended with the score of 21-17 after Pitt put up 10 points in the fourth quarter, but Wake Forest put up 14 to get the W. So when you're looking at this matchup with Notre Dame, particularly, this is a Notre Dame team that's coming off the bye week, that just beat a Southern Cal team that they have flaws, there's no doubt about that, but Notre Dame finally has a bye week after 8 straight weeks of tough matchups, beating Navy, beating Tennessee State, beating North Carolina State, beating Central Michigan, losing to Ohio State by 3, beating Duke, losing to Louisville on the road, and then beating Southern Cal. Some of those are impressive wins, like Duke and Southern Cal. Some of those are disappointing losses, like Ohio State and Louisville. And really, this last stretch of games for Notre Dame is going to be critical when it comes to what bowl game they're going to match up in. This is a team that still can finish 10-2 and compete for a New Year's Six bowl bid. And to be honest, I think if this team finishes 10-2, I don't know how you really couldn't put them in a New Year's Six bowl bid, because this team is just, I think, on that level, with barely losing to an Ohio State team that personally I think is one of the best teams in the nation, if not the best team in the nation. So when it comes down to this game, we're going to do 3 key factors for the Fighting Irish. 1, no turnovers. The one game that you had a bunch of turnovers in was Louisville. And guess what happened in that game? You lost. You barely lost to Ohio State. There were no turnovers either way. It was zero, zilch, nothing. So I'm not going to argue one way or another for that. But you definitely have to limit the turnovers there. Sam Hartman cannot be making mistakes. Number 2. Speaking of mistakes, let's protect the quarterback. Stop him from making mistakes. One of the biggest issues with that Louisville game was not only that you were tired, but you were also physically beat up and beat up so that way you got beat outside. You got beat on the edges. You got beat where you should not have gotten beat. The pressure all game long was at Sam Hartman, just getting pressure relentlessly on him, and you really just couldn't do nothing about it. So you got to be able to protect your quarterback. Pitt's defensive line is nowhere near where they have been in the past, so that is definitely helpful. But overall, you should be in a good spot when it comes to Notre Dame. Number 3, defense. Let's get some turnovers, baby. Let's get some turnovers. You did a great job against Southern Cal. You had 5 turnovers, and not a single offensive turnover. That is extremely helpful. So when you're looking at this game, when you're looking at the matchup overall, you're looking at a Notre Dame team that generally protects the ball and generally is able to get takeovers sometimes. Earlier on in the season, it was a struggle, don't get me wrong. But they were slowing down teams, they were stopping teams, they weren't giving up many points and stuff like that, so it was fine. But with this defense, Al Golden has shown to be a superb defensive coordinator, and I expect that to continue on. With this being a home matchup, I think that it's going to be a struggle for Pitt. When you're looking at this Notre Dame team, coming off the bye week, I think is probably one of the most critical parts of this game, because Notre Dame has had a lot of pressure on them, a lot of relentless physical pressure. I am a college student now. I can tell you, like, those final exam weeks, those midterm weeks and stuff like that, like a midterm week, right when you played USC, like right before the USC was midterm week, right before fall break. That's a struggle. That's a struggle. It is a lot of work, and I think that this Notre Dame team, rested and rejuvenated coming out of the bye week, you should be able to get some offensive firepower going. Another thing that I'd like to see in this game, I'd like to see some downfield passing. Chris Tyree passed by Sam Hartman in the USC game. Fantastic. I want to see it again. I don't want to see Chris Tyree dropping it. I don't want to see Sam Hartman throwing it into double coverage. If you're playing cover 2 and it's just you're blanketing all the coverage, fine. Then run a bunch of slow developing or run a bunch of stuff underneath. That's fine. Take what the defense gives you. But if the defense gives you something over the top, allow yourself to exploit that. Don't just be sitting back on your hands and not exploiting that. You have a quarterback that is good enough to do that. Now, do it with him. Be able to exploit those advantages. And I think Notre Dame has the ability to do that. I expect Audric Estime to have a great game here. I also expect Jeremiah Love to get a lot of snaps in this game. I think that that's something that you've seen a lot recently, is Jeremiah Love get a lot more snaps. So I expect him throughout the last 4 games, especially if Notre Dame is getting the hint that Audric is going to head towards the draft, which I think is possible. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I'm not really sure. Because Audric, great back, but running backs don't generally get taken high, so maybe he stays. I don't know. But overall, this team is in a good position to be able to get the W, and I think that they will at the end of the day. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys all for watching. Hit the 2 videos down below. It will be a playlist for all my Notre Dame prediction videos, and hit the subscribe button up here. And as always, have a great day. Bye, guys.